Paulo's method. Let's go through it. It's quite different than anything I've heard before. First of all, when asked, what does your writing routine look like when you write your books? And he writes a new book every 2 years, he says. He doesn't do deadlines. He doesn't have any of that. He just writes a new book every 2 years. His process, he said, is always the same. He says, I procrastinate for 3 to 5 hours until I feel so guilty that I tell myself to sit for only 30 minutes and start writing. Most of the time, he said that 30 minutes turns into a 10-hour marathon where he just can't stop. Pretty fascinating, isn't it? He said literally he went through all of the things we all do. He checks his social media channels. He checks emails. He checks various videos, everything he can do to avoid his writing. He knows he's procrastinating, and he says he hates this about his process, but he can't do anything else. He says the majority of his day is spent feeling so guilty about not writing until that guilt builds up. And in order to not completely hate himself, he tells himself, okay, I'm just going to sit down and at least do 30 minutes of writing to satisfy this guilt. And that gets him started. Anybody else relate with the guilt of not writing? The guilt of knowing you should be doing something productive and you're not doing it. I can definitely relate to that. So what if we found a way to use that guilt to trigger us to just start? He's a very successful writer. He's literally drowning in his published books. Yet, he struggles with procrastinating, and yet he struggles with getting started. It's encouraging, and he says he wishes that he didn't have to spend most of his day in a guilt mode, but he says it's been the same every 2 years for each one of his books.